The world around them began to crumble. The people decided to move. The artifact entrusted to them urged them to travel south, lest it be seized by their enemies. Jonah? I'm past the Eagle Trial. I must be close to the hidden city. Paititi flourishes under the watchful gaze of Yaskar Yahweh and his council. The city grows. Temples are built. The people are peaceful, prosperous, and content.
Mama says it upsets the waterfall's waka if I play in the cave. She just thinks it's too dangerous, even though there's all kinds of neat stuff in there.
Born to famine, raised in rebellion, orphaned but never alone, he rises as the sun. This depicts the story of Viracocha, the father of all creation. He formed the heavens, the earth, the sun and stars, the moon, time itself, and all living beings, including the other gods. At first, Viracocha was considered to be the supreme god of the Inca, but with time that honor passed to his son, Inti, the god of the sun. Still, Viracocha retained his link to the sea. His name literally means fat or foam of the sea. A heavy-breasted woman wearing serpents around her waist. This is Coatlicue, whose name literally means skirt of snakes. She's also called Tetioinen, the mother of the gods. She gave birth to the moon and the stars, and had over 400 children, including the sun god Huitzilopochtli, who is also god of war. In addition to being a mother, she's seen as the devourer of all that lives. It's said that she was herself sacrificed to bring about this current age of creation. Turn mirror 1 to the left. Follow the beam of light to mirror 2. Direct mirror 2 across the chamber diagonally. Return to mirror 1. These seem to be instructions of some kind, but I can't make out the rest. Worthy may call upon Kinichahal. Use his light to chase the shadows from your hearts and the city itself. Shak was a very important god to the Maya. He taught them farming secrets and oversaw growing in the harvest. Generally, he was associated with all forms of fertility. He was also in charge of wind, lightning, and rain, which was caused by his tears. He was in charge of preserving springs, wells, streams, cenotes, and other sources of water. Like the aspects over which he presided, he was considered benevolent and caring, but unpredictable. Physically, Shak was depicted as a reptile with hair tangled in unruly knots, and his colors were white, red, yellow, and black, representing north, east, south, and west. All full up. Can't carry any more. Maya and Inca stood shoulder to shoulder against their brothers on one side, those who wished to retreat and start fresh, and those who wished to expand and conquer neighboring territories. Itzamna is the son of the Maya creator god, Hunabku. He was the god of education, responsible for inventing writing and books. This made him an essential figure in the development of Maya culture. He was also god of agriculture and created farming. He even presided over doctors, healing people with the help of his red-hot hand. Usually Itzamna took on a reptilian aspect, but he was also known as Kinichahal, a fire macaw, who is the patron of the number 4 and controlled drought and disease. The protectors failed, and are now doomed to recover what they lost.
The legend is that the Ring of Seven stand guard over riches. but I've looked all over the place and I still haven't been able to find them. It doesn't make any sense. Why go to the trouble of making up a riddle and then not having it pay off?
As it was foretold, heralded by the column of flame burning through the night, and the destruction of our temples, and the warnings of the weeping woman and the two-headed man, the strange warriors astride great deer arrived with the rising sun. They murdered the weak leaders and claimed the land and the people as their own. The peak of this mountain is hidden behind thick clouds. I can't be sure what these two smaller hills on either side of the mountain are supposed to represent. The Maya goddess Ishel, like moon goddesses in many other cultures, was also a mother deity associated with pregnancy and childbirth. The natural phenomena over which she presided included waterfalls, rainstorms, and rainbows. She was also the goddess of all crafts, such as watercolor painting and weaving, which she invented. But she wasn't exclusively nurturing. Her hair consisted of living serpents. She wore a skirt made of bones, and she had a legendary temper. Come, those who imagine themselves brave and bold. See if you can survive the trials awaiting within. Those who do will have earned their status as warriors. May Olanta find the clays and metals of the afterlife suitable to her craft. It's difficult to make out. People settled between two rivers. They weren't alone. However, these outsiders don't appear dangerous. The pilgrimage came to a fork of two rivers and decided to settle. They erected 2 pyramids and began their new lives as protectors of the box. Okay, water looks deep enough. Chuki have woven us each a tunic of the finest wool by the time we reach the afterlife. This seems to represent Unuratu leading a group in rebellion. There is a near-total eclipse in the background. Need to destroy this barrier somehow. The lone figure appears in a state of peace, as though waiting for something. There's the entrance. This shows a pilgrimage from a great city. This must be Manco, leading the priestess's ancestors out of Cusco. Here's Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. The Aztecs worshipped him as a force of nature, responsible for the wind and the rain. In his most wrathful tempers, these natural phenomena became extreme, acting to cleanse the earth and sky. Through that, he also became associated with justice and with mercy. According to one legend, he had misbehaved with his sister, and to atone for his shame, he set himself on fire. Then, his ashes rose into the sky, and he became a god of light as well. These traps are more complex than I could have imagined. May Crispy have acquired a surplus of foods, supplies, and comforts by the time we meet him in the afterlife. The city is only as strong as its crops and people. From here, we control the water, never having to rely on the Fickley rains again. This must be Mama Zara. I always thought her forms of worship were a fun tradition. She was the Incan goddess of grain, and her name means maize mother. So if ever a farmer found a strange maize plant, they would dress it up like a doll in honor of her. She was also the goddess of willow trees, so sometimes the farming communities would hang one of their maize dolls from a willow tree and dance around it for her. Shit! Impossible. I can't carry any more. From its roots in the underworld, sheltering bats, it grows straight and true. Its trunk holds the realm of men fast, and its branches spread its white leaves across the night sky. Oh God, what is that smell? This Maya god is very dark brown, almost black, with black-rimmed eyes and facial features that seem to be melting at their extremities. This can only be Exua. He's the patron god of the cacao bean, which accounts for his coloring. Also, because ancient Mesoamericans used those beans as currency, Exua became by extension a god of merchants and of trade. Interestingly, when he first appeared in the lore, he was a god of conflict. I can use the spigot to change the water's level. When storms crash and rivers swell, direct the waters to quench the thirst of the gods who toil above and below. May Huascar's knowledge of the two afterlives be sufficient to guide us, if we arrive in either.